a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And my wonderful guest today is the very popular Jenny Lee. Let me bring her on.
Hey.
Hi, Jenny. How you doing?
Well, at least we didn't have vocal issues or audio issues. We just had timing issues today. And
one time it's 2 hours ahead, one time it's 3 hours ahead, and sometimes we're back and forth and so on. So it does get confusing. And I want to welcome everybody. We're happy that you're here and glad you were patient waiting. And I wanted to mention something. Remember, Jenny, I called you yesterday and asked about, should I put out that urgent message or not?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And because I was reluctant, because I hate it when we have any kind of dates, but something very interesting was just pointed out to me, and that is the Q clock. And if you don't mind, real quickly, so maybe it wasn't just today. We didn't know what time today they might not work. Or maybe it still won't happen. I don't know, but I just found this interesting. Let me share the screen real quick. I think I have it up. Oh, maybe I took it down. Oh, no, I didn't. Here it is. Hang on. Real quick.
You get it?
Oh, I thought it was up there already. Not yet. Okay, there it is. Now, that means in an hour, 11 minutes. Interesting that it came up at that time, isn't it? Okay. So what that means, I'm not sure, but it could have something to do with the message yesterday, or maybe not. All I can do is put the information out there, and you can use your own discernment or your own instincts. And so it's not a matter if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And we never are able to tell the times. What do you think, Jenny, right?
Well, that Q clock, I've seen it. They've said it several times and it hasn't come into the, and I don't honestly believe that they're going to give you the exact time that it's going to go. Yeah. So I'm like, they're not going to, it's like informing, if whatever is left negative to tell them when to attack you. So I don't think unless we got total control of the internet system. So I just don't feel the strong urge to follow that because it might be plus frustrating on top.
Yes, I haven't followed it. I just did. In fact, I didn't until somebody pointed it out to me just earlier today. So.
Right. And I've seen it on TikTok everywhere, and they've had it, I don't know, on several things. So they keep resetting it. So I don't know if someone's just copying it. Is that the original site? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know.
Oh, that's true. And there's so much of that now, just like there's fake people on Facebook, on the internet. There's bots that are people. There are CGIs that are pretending to be people. And it's very confusing for people.
Oh, it is. It's so confusing, and that's the problem with it is we're just and right till the very end. And I always tell people, I think if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Probably,
2 a.m. in the morning. Because I just think that's when you're going to start to see anything develop.
Yeah, see, Mary Jane's saying the same thing that you did, that they've been changing the clock. I haven't been following it, so I didn't really know what's happened with it. But
I've just seen it occasionally on TikTok, and people are putting it out there, and then they're resetting it.
Lenore says she thinks it's just a distraction.
Yeah, I do. I think it's. And the thing is, I mean, if you would look at the clock and what the actual website of it, yeah,
she said 2 o'clock. When you said 2 o'clock in the morning, then she put, I'm sorry, as long as I'm not on the toilet. That is funny. I'll give you that. So anyway, all right, Jenny, you've had some very interesting visions recently, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy on that end of things, because I kept getting with Spirit, they're like, you need to start to get them to be in that 45 day. I was just talking to Nancy, one of my students, and I keep telling people, I'm seeing like this squareness and this net stuff, like it's breaking down. I'm seeing it through videos. I'm seeing it, right in front of me. I feel like I'm squinting my eyes. I feel like something's breaking down. And she saw it too. I mean, so I'm asking people if they're seeing this breakdown process. So I believe that we are not in the process of 3D at all anymore. The weather is telling you, the animals are telling you, especially the weather, the way the earth is erupting, and
we're actually getting truth put out there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then, if you look at the dead clock, if you pay attention to dimensional things, you'll know where they're telling you where we're at. And so we're in this transformation period. So I'm getting out of the process of referring to anything for a 3D process. It's like I'm looking at a view of 4D, and I've been doing that for a while, but it's really getting people to visualize things in that concept and those bright colors and that elusive state and everything. And that's why sometimes it's hard to put these things together and draw and write them, and because a lot of things people are not going to understand, but I put it together as best as I can to understand that everything's bright colors and illusions, and bright light is behind that on that process. So they keep telling me, like I told you last week, this week it's buildings and corporations going down. What do you know? It's coming down pretty fast.
There's bridges and corporations and buildings.
Yep.
Or bridges, I meant to say. Did I say
bridges? That I've had for a while. I had a thing on that, but corporations and buildings. So I think they're going to be you're going to go into these buildings that the old corporation had, and you can't get into them. They're locked out. They have no money. There's no access. And I'm not talking about banks. So that's the example they gave this week. But now they're saying, okay, this 3D is done. 4D and 5D we need to be paying attention to in every aspect of it, technology, everything. Because there's just nothing left to look back on, even if these 3D people wanted to keep that world, there's nothing left. It's like, a crumbling situation, trying to put it back up, just like Joe Biden, it's just not going to work. It's not going to function.
Yeah, really.
And so getting out of the concept, and I think the biggest part is colors that look very vibrant and bright, and then there's things that are in front of you that you can't see, that change with your focus. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, people literally feel like they're getting messed with, and it's like, no, you're just accepting this transformation, what we're going into. That's what's changing. So I kept seeing one being in the past week, and started it. I gave you some reference.
Do you want me to bring those pictures up?
Yeah, let's see which one comes up first, and then we'll go into explaining how you can understand that we're not to look at a concept of the flesh, getting out of that concept of the flesh, of how things are that look like, again, humans, beings. So she's
Okay.
so, and I've been, some of these have been around for a while, but I'm using this as a metaphor to get you to look at things differently. So how they make things, they told you this can't be real. So those things actually can be real, now in the way I see them, because when I get this information, I don't see them in a human form.
Wait a minute, where do we go here?
I sent it to Facebook.
Okay. Do you see? No, it probably, I have to go back to here and push here. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's the first one, and I don't know if you can get it, bigger.
You want to go to the next one?
See, the whole thing about that.
Yeah, I wish I could make it bigger, but I don't
know if you can.
No, I don't think. I think it's as big as it goes on where it's coming from. But it looks like a picture. Basically, to me, it looks like a picture of a man's head, and the third eye is lit up, as well as the throat looks like a diamond. And then, how did you draw that?
Well, I can give you what I started out with. Do
you want to move to a different one?
No. Well, okay, we got that one. This is the one that I started with. So,
okay.
So I want you to understand everything looks like crystals to me, because they show you we're going to a crystal state of everything. These beings are higher dimension beings, so they're showing me.
Make this bigger so they can see that.
Yeah.
Now we can see it better.
Yeah, this is a hard thing to imagine in a human form, right? And everything's a light being. This is a crystal form. Always light comes out of the mouth. And then light reflects out of everything. Okay. And so, which is different.
Hence, they call them light beings.
Yes, and they're not in the flesh again. So that's the whole thing. That's not in the flesh. That's why I showed you on that one. If you go back to it, it shows you a light here, and the light of the main eye of the crystallization is overpowers anything. To look at it is overpowering. And just to focus your human eye on that. That's what I'm saying. You see how the light is that comes out of the eye, that comes out of the mouth, that comes out of the throat, and then the chest area, the chest plate.
The heart.
The heart. Just the being itself. So this is what I'm saying is we need to get into a mental concept of looking at things differently and accepting. And it's like I teach class, I say to ask them and show themselves as their original form, because we as humans have been programmed to say they only look like humans. They only need to look like humans. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and we
yeah,
get
definitely.
Into the process, and out of the fear of it, you can actually, because it's about your veil of understanding that's changing.
Yeah. Patricia said, looks harmonic in nature. The picture.
Yeah, it is just a light being. So it's just changing, on. And you can go to the next one.
Okay. Oh, wrong way. That's the dead clock, though.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. That wasn't supposed to happen. Stop sharing. Hang on a second. I don't know why that did it that way that time. It didn't do that before. Hang on a minute. I got to share again. But before I share, I got to change where the focus is. So now this being looks like a Catwoman.
Okay. Is it okay. Now this, I want you to understand, here we go back to light. Everything's a light frequency, like a jellyfish, that where you can see light illuminate through things. So all that is not like a cow. Literally, it's just light reflecting through her soul. Okay, and the eyes and the mouth and the frequency and movement, and the whole process of that is, that just say everybody says they're ready for aliens, but they don't look like humans. They're a lot taller. And I'm just telling you from what I've visualized. And I've never seen something come at me that looks like a human, because I'd be like, is that a person? And they're just like, no, this is a light being. This is how they, and then I see them really tall in different shapes and different forms. I just they've never told me to draw one that looks like that. So it gets you to understand the light in them, and how it moves with frequency, and how it beams off the soul. So that's the whole thing, is we have to get out of this concept of, looking at colors, and many colors in many forms. And, humans are very obsessed with their outer shell of how they look and everything. And when you're at a higher conscience, it's literally the conscience, the light being that's more important. Okay, so we have
Your consciousness.
Yes, we really have to work on that form of things, because I think putting on makeup and all that stuff just covers that up, what you're trying to cover up. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, okay, let's see our inside from out. Let's let that light beam from inside and out. If we would see that a different way, it'd be totally different. So it illuminates light. The soul illuminates the light, the frequency, and then like light is, you feel that warmness that makes you feel completely in harmony. So that's the whole thing about this concept. We need to start looking at things as light beings.
So you're emanating a frequency, probably a loving frequency, that is emanating out of, those, especially out of those areas that you've identified. Your eyes, your mouth, your heart, and it and you're transparent, basically.
Right, exactly.
So if you're transparent, are you able, how do you distinguish one light being from another light being?
Because when I do this, there's a knowing inside, but it's almost like identification of frequency. It's just
like an energy signature.
Yes. It's the same thing when I channel in different ways. It's just a knowing in the mind, in the conscience, of recognizing that fast and building the trust with that frequency. That's the whole thing about this. When I started wanting to do these drawings, I didn't want to do them. I was like, I don't really want to draw all this, you just never going to believe this stuff. But and then these and it's just because you got so much crud on Google that's portraying as something that's not true. I think it's kind of funny, and Gail, you'll laugh at this too, because literally, you're going to have all these women lusting after these aliens, and they need to look like Fabio coming off the ships. If they did, they would turn the other way and go run, because these women are lusting, because that's what they've been taught and told. And the difference is, it's not the flesh that's important, the physical aspect is the conscience, it's the vibration, it's the frequency, it's the knowing. And so I just find we have to get out of that and focus on energy, and focus on how you're feeling this now, what you're going through, what people are going through right now. You know, they need to feel things, you know, and not like hide it in your mind where you're like, I don't want to bring this up because I don't, you know, I don't want to get it verified. I don't want to act like, sound like a crazy person when I bring this up, but this is what I'm feeling. It's going with that instinct again, but we have to get out of the Google images and start to get into the real images of how they look.
Yeah, I they always have these buff men and just really super handsome, and,
you know,
the women too. But
I'm just waiting for the way they're rolling at it right now. It's just expecting one of these Pleiadians to be in some Playgirl magazine, like it's the Playboy of the year and it's a Pleiadian. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it is. But that's the concept they're starting to put in the process. And it's a fixation, a fascination. But I mean, just think of being an alien going, oh, Jesus is the wrong message we want. We don't want this. You know, and it's just, you know,
kinda, oh, you're so 3D.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It is. You know, I mean, I would be getting on the ship going, okay, we're leaving. We're not coming back until you people figure this out. Saying. Oh
my goodness, that's funny.
And this is the sad thing. It's feeding that, especially you're under alcohol substance, and then you're seeing this, you're watching this late at night, and they're just thinking, you know, boy, they're just gonna roll off the ship, you know, looking like Chippendales of the alien species.
Yeah,
and
really.
It's not. And it's
you're being misled.
Right. You are way off the board on this, you know. And so let's get this straight. Let's get this into the balance of things. So let's go with the other picture. So
let me bring this comment up real quick here. Is for me, someone was saying I've been seeing violet emblem, golden and white rays of light when he does prayer meditation. And the reason I brought it up is I see that too. I mean, I see a lot of violet, I see a lot of golden light and white light, and it's pretty cool. But it just kind of, you know, floats around.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
And that's the thing about it. It's just, it is literally, if you look back and look at humans' behavior and how they see things, and they follow, that's one of the overcreators. I was trying to get this one up. Now
I can't. I can't. It doesn't turn.
That's okay. They can still see it, but this because it has a lot of dominant colors. But like I said, how everything is very bold looking, and how it's strong, and how everything is energy, and how everything blows through, and how everything is light. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. I mean, looking at us in that form of, we have to get our head wrapped around things looking completely different.
Just like we have to get our heads wrapped around the fact that we have to unlearn everything that we were taught, because it's been
right.
a lie. Not only
the only thing that's been truthful is The Simpsons, right?
Yeah, they told us what was coming.
And, yeah, they were a cartoon character, you know, but heck, they've been around forever. So I don't know, maybe there was some point with that, but I'm just saying, it's just, we've got to start to wrap our heads around all of this process of things. So move on to the next one.
Okay. Let me go over here. Interesting.
So this one is a side view, and this has to do with the pineal gland and the diamond that I always say that's in the back that's connected to Creator, and how light illuminates through the eyes. This gives like a metaphor in this process. It's just, again, the lights around the being, that concept of seeing things in a different way. That's the whole thing, and very dimensional. That's the process of seeing things in frequencies of colors in a dimensional situation. And it's looking beyond that, looking at the light, looking at the frequency. This is something we have to get into for our future, where we're going.
Okay, somebody's asking, was this related to us here? Where is the cat being with green light from?
Well, it's just it's a being. It's not a cat being. It is, that's light coming, illuminating through. Actually, it's the concept of the light illuminating through. Not this one, but the other one they were talking about. They just asked. So this is more of understanding your pineal gland that's above the eye, and then how they show me that we all have a crystallization of the frequency in the back of our mind, and then how we're going to this process of turning into this calcification of crystallization of our soul. So, we're changing. We're not, like I always tell you, we're not going to be the blood, the bone, and the water anymore, and that's the whole thing that's changing.
Yeah, that's probably hard for people to wrap their head around. But I've heard others, refer to people as light beings.
Right.
And
well, yeah, but it is light that's illuminating, but there's more than just the light inside,
Okay, what do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, what I mean, it's not, you have light, you have frequency, do you understand? But you also have this crystal part that they're showing me. They'll show me all these crystals were a part of it, and that's the thing. These lights illuminate through this. That's why it shows you his eye in the creation. They show me it's a crystal, in a form of light. So that's the whole thing. We get into the blood, the DNA. We get so fixated on the DNA. Everything's DNA because we've been programmed. That is important.
And we don't have half of what we used to have anyway, which made us different. So that's another whole issue. Someone's asking, are we going to understand the animals and plants languages in the coming days? And
I believe we are. I already believe you're seeing animals evolve. I already see people communicating different with it. I think that's already happening.
I agree. I've seen some things that certainly make it appear that way.
Right. So it's just when you're seeing something for its original form, like that's all I see. I go through things instead of going on the outer shell. So you're just trying to change your perception. Try to look at things, say, I don't want to look at the outer shell of them. I want to look through them in a way of feeling their rhythm, feeling their soul, feeling their frequency, feeling their intention. If you start putting yourself in that situation, you're going to trust that more instead of going, they're wearing a blue shirt and I don't like their baggy pants and they need to wear makeup today and their eyebrows. We're off on that. But,
Oh, okay. Hang on one second.
I don't hear anything.
I'm sorry, I'm back. I had to do that. I
Okay.
had to take that call.
Okay. Okay, so this gives the understanding of when I talked about the eyes being very crystallizing, looking, dimensional. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting past, trying to get across the process of things looking not like the flesh, but very chiseled and very futuristic. And like, again, you see in the mouth, it's illuminating light again, and there's light around the being. That's the whole process that we have to get into. I mean, because when our body, sheds, like when someone has passed on, it's the soul that matters, the light, the frequency that matters. But as we're in the flesh, everybody focuses on that. And that's what I'm saying about this concept of seeing things for their original form. And when usually humans see something like that, they're scared of it. They're freaked out. They're programmed that it's a certain way, that it must be wrong. And that's the whole process. It's getting you to accept things as they change.
Okay. Well, someone's asking, is this process going to take many years, or will we have assistance in our change?
I think they're just going to blend it in, and then it's like you just see it so much. You start to see it so much, it just blends in with your conscience, and you're well at that part of acceptance. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like anything else with society, you're just seeing that it's not bringing harm. Okay, it's not going to bring harm to you. It's just another being itself, and you're in society accepting for what it is.
Interesting.
And going through this process, it just really gets you to, any type of pattern or color or that doesn't matter anymore.
Does it hurt?
Right.
Anyway, actually somebody came up with that too. Does the soul feel the pain of death?
Only at the beginning, and then when it exits, they always tell me they feel very numb everywhere. Like they can't feel their limbs, they can't feel what happened to them because they go into a numb state. And then they don't even realize sometimes that they're out of their bodies because they're not feeling the pain. So it changes.
Interesting.
That's the whole thing about it is when I've done mediumship on readings, sometimes they don't even realize, that's where you get into the concept, they don't realize they died. Only until they get to the part they stop feeling the pain and it went away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the concept they show. Well,
is a light being able to take on a 3D body to be here?
More of a walk-in type of situation.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on how resourceful they are and how powerful they are and what they can do. It really depends on that being. It really does. That walks in, through that vessel and transfers itself into being in that process.
Okay. Laurel has an interesting way of putting it. Like living in golden light, we become pure conscious plasma energy of love.
Yep. Because you don't need, at that point, you need nothing but that light. Your soul doesn't desire for anything else.
Your soul takes your consciousness with you, with it, correct?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, we all often think that there's already people, 3Ds in here that we think their conscience is already gone. Where did it go? That's the thing. It's just changing on how we're looking at things. It's like a jellyfish. You're stepping your frequency and your light into that like a jellyfish, and protection around you. And that's the whole thing. But the other thing too is these beings can turn into many forms as they want. So this is the thing is.
Well, that's what I meant basically when I was asking about can they? Like how do they come down and interact with 3D or 4D people unless they...
So sometimes they form into what your veil of understanding could accept. Sorry, she wants up into the second.
Okay.
So that's the whole thing is it's they show me, they're like, okay, here's a religion side of things. Most people say they see Jesus as a white Jesus and they come and they have these dreams. And like I said, they will show you what they figure that you will accept in your dreams, because that's what you're going to pay attention to. And that's why I always want to see things at its original form. My mind can take the truth. My mind can adapt to the true form. So you're adapting your conscience to something that it wants to show its trueness, but feels like it can't. It can't show its whole apparition of itself because it doesn't feel that your veil of understanding can take that. We go into fear. It's like going into a haunted building and they say they want to see the spirits, but they're really afraid of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's the concept of the mind. What do you really want to see? Do you really want to see the real form, or do you want to see, what you feel that would be a good form? That's what I'm saying. So that's why people see things in different identities, or they feel comfortable in seeing Jesus form everywhere, or you know what I'm saying, but they're very good at when they see something dark, they're like, no, they get into that fear process. But it's kind of staying outside your perimeter and just saying, okay, whether it's a light being or a dark being I've seen, you're kind of observing and still accepting its original form, but holding your composure of knowing that you're seeing it for what it originally is. I guess fear is a big process. If we weren't in such fear on this, I think more beings would step up and show themselves, but
yeah.
I think we freak out too much.
And people say they're not afraid, but they are.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, will our family go through the process of a death in the family as each of us go through ascension?
No, because I think I've explained that to you. It's like 3 days going this way, 4 or 5 days going this way. So I believe, like I've said, it's like sometimes waking up in a dream and you're already in that concept. And this is the thing that I've always heard in my head. It's not your responsibility once you've gotten on your path of 4D to carry others. At that point, we're at a point that those souls have made that choice. So your heart is not carrying that burden. The only way that they show me which beings are carrying that burden are the negative that have decided to work for the dark, and they are being ripped from their loved ones. They have showed me that. That's
Wow.
not pretty.
Oh. Wow. Ripped from their loved ones through death. Is that what you're saying here on 3D, or what do you mean by that?
So something negative. I had a dream about this. Is they showed me that whoever decided to serve the dark on this concept of this awakening, they chose a side.
Okay.
They chose a contract. Okay.
Mm.
So I guess the negative, if you're in a negative process, you didn't think that you were ever going to lose. Okay, well, there's consequences. On the dotted line there, did you read the blueprint that says, if we lose, you're going with us. You're going back with us. You know what I'm saying? Eternal darkness. And that means you will not be staying here with those that you find, even though you're a person of doing evil deeds, they still will feel that ripping process from something being taken away from you that you loved. And maybe that's the kind of the value of understanding you made a choice. You signed on the dotted line.
Okay. So what about okay, this it is hard to wrap your head around the process of how the change actually occurs.
Right.
Because they have been saying that this is the first time that it's happening in the manner that it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to die first. So people are
Right.
going, well, how do I change from this being to this transparent jellyfish-like being? I mean, does that take...
Because the thing about that is if you're already, if you're already on an awakened path, you're already starting to go through that transformation because you're recognizing the truth, okay? You're already recognizing a reality that's not true, and you're recognizing what is true. So within the soul of the awakening, you're going to, your mind's filtering both sides. And that's why it's important to listen to your instinct and your own intuition on this, okay? Your soul's already going down a path of learning, okay? So just say, so dealing with healing, they end up, dealing with their healing path. What is their path here? They start to analyze what they're supposed to be doing on this earth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Each person has an individual veil of understanding how they get there, okay? And each person that I've even learned with students, they're all at different paces, but they know inside when they're at a certain understanding that they're like, wow, I would have never believed this stuff many years ago, okay? And I'm not just talking about all the cabal stuff. I'm talking about understanding energy, your frequency, everything is energy, all that stuff. They start to, with the awakening, there's this energy side that comes together. And so, like I said, now you're kind of, when you get to that point of acceptance that you're awakening to it, you start to realize that your body process, your shell, is not the most important thing. It's your soul. What can your soul do? What can your soul turn into? How does it develop? How does it work with spirit? How, instead of going in, the biggest thing is about that is turning away from the religion. You know that, because then that you're thinking on your own, you're processing information on your own, you're feeling things, your body's, your soul's asking to see these things more. You know what I'm saying? So it's, again, your higher guides are putting this information, you're picking up the downloads. So that's the whole thing. It's a path. It's a path that you are awakening. And then all of a sudden, this whole concept of where a lot of us are at, you're getting it. You're understanding. That's the whole thing. Each person's not going to walk in the same path the same way. It is a path of your own conscience that awakens you, of trust, of going towards a light direction. It feels good in the soul. It starts with inside the soul of knowing the truth, not a program that has told you, obey, follow this path.
Consume.
You know what I'm saying? No more sheep.
Yeah.
No more sheep concept. So, it's very important to understand that it is a personal process. Someone can tell you exactly the way that they awakened and got into this process and how they change. But you have to feel it your way of development and walk in it. What do you do? Yeah, you read the things that are presented in front of you that have to do with your inner self, and how to meditate, and how to use energy, and how to use frequency, and how to trust yourself. Trust yourself is big.
Yeah. It is. Like when that instinct comes forward, do you just go with it, or do you start to question it?
That is the thing that I teach the students. I'm like, the millisecond. The millisecond right there is always the right, accurate information, because when you doubt, then we go into a concept of fear. That information on any instinct of any survival situation, it's that first instinct that always is been the best decision.
Yeah. And we have a tendency to go to our mind at that point and want to analyze the situation rather than going with our gut, as they say we should do. Now, there is a question up there. How does 4D work? Because I thought it was only the astral realm.
So what that is just I think 4D is more of a transformation stage, like your boot camp that you're going through right now. But you're starting to understand healing, especially the healing process of what you're going through. And guess what? Understanding that money doesn't really matter anymore. The whole thing that matters is energy. Your whole body is going to be content and well balanced around energy. So to me, it's always been like this. 4D is like this big train station, and they have all these paths that you can go, and you're kind of making your decision what you want to be. That's why I keep telling people, what do you want to do after this stage? Say the funding, say everything is done. You have to make a soul decision. How do you contribute? The passageways to every part of our earth that we were not had access to. If you had access to those passageways, I think a lot of people would want to explore, figure it out, go through interacting with other beings, don't you think? So that's the whole thing, is you're not limited no more. Well, if you give full access to that, we had access to this a long time ago, would be way ahead of the ball game. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Laurel brought up the thought of the movie Cocoon, That's a
Did you remember seeing that movie and how inspired they were, the way they felt and how good they felt and how young they felt, and they were older, you know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing, because it was all energy and they felt alive in a different way and not suffering. So, yeah.
Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's any other questions here. Faith, not religion. Okay. There they come.
That's going to be a hard one. That comes the religion process of.
Oh, wow.
That was involved in there's not one religion that's going to be out of the situation. And when that reality comes, because they think that is their whole being. they have decided that the religion is their whole being, that is their institution of doing right and wrong. And this is where you get in that concept. You talk to religious people is because a preacher tells you what the Bible says, and then you read it on your own sometimes, and you still have to go back to the church to make sure it's the right decision. And this is the thing, is when you start to back up from that and start to listen to your instinct, look at the Book of Thomas. I told you that's what an area that they pulled out of the Bible because they don't want you to think on your own. And so,
the Book of Thomas, is that what you were talking about?
The Book of Thomas. Okay. They took it out.
I haven't read it.
Yeah. So it talks about that. Because the church is not on expanding the conscience. It is on concept of programming and obey.
And fear too.
Fear.
Guilt, they use guilt and shame a lot.
And, nation. And so when that falls apart, if you're going, you want to know if you're going to see some people losing their mind, you're going to see some wackadoo religious people really go, because
bonkers.
That was their whole thing about living. It was on that concept. They didn't decide to live on their own and live with their own instinct and follow that path of nature or be guided by, that we all are part of creation, and if we listen to that inner strength, we wouldn't have needed religion. But we needed, at that time, that early programming. It almost tries to tell you what's your value, and that's the church is another way that tries to tell you your value and what you contribute to value.
And how does that one song go about that? You're a wretch, a no good, I mean, I like the song and all, but if the word, in its way of that religions make you feel like you're horrible because you're a sinner, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's the process. And the guys behind the podium are the sinners, as we know now.
And some of them in a very bad way.
Yeah. So, that is going to bring them to the floor of the church, and because they are built, designed, and programmed on that platform. So
it's a lot of programming.
Oh, yeah. But standing above it and looking at that, I saw it at an early age, not being a part of that.
I remember when I was quite young too. I can't remember what the question was, but I remember I asked a pastor something about, it was probably about related to communion or something like that. Because, and they said, well, your little mind just can't comprehend God's, whatever. And I'm going, okay. That's when I started going, oh, wow. And then I just continued to see the hypocritical of it to the point that I just didn't participate because of that.
It is hypocritical. So, I mean, and that's going to be, you're going to see, that's going to be, everybody's going to be like, oh, we'll just step back because this one's going to be a big one when it hits. And all the money they've donated, and then they're going to analyze what they donated to and where that money went to.
Whoa, my God. Whoa, that's going to be very hard to take.
It is.
Some people gave significant portions of their hard-earned labor money to these characters, and when they find out what some of them, not all of them, but what some of them were doing.
You know, it makes you
appalled.
think on the whole program of the churches couldn't be taxed. You know, they let that slide, and I'm pretty sure as long as they played with the program that they were taught of the higher ups to lead their people to the program. You know what I'm saying? It's all connects with the same process. It's not going to be a good concept on that process. You know, and I see it in some people where they're starting to see it, and they're lost. They're lost without their religion, because that was told how they need to be evaluated as a human being, which is bad. But you know what? You say one thing to any type of religious person, and I say to them all the time, I go, you feel you're a good person? Yeah. What have you done for mankind lately? I go to church. Nope.
What's that got to do with anything?
Going to church is not giving to humanity. What have you done? What have you done daily? What have you done? What effort have you put towards humanity of recognizing what it needed? Going to church is not covering it.
That's going to be very disappointing. People are going to have to really think about it. What have I done?
Judged others.
Yeah, there you go. That religion is really good at that.
They are, aren't they? Throwing those stones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, and most of our families are saturated in religion and on that process of things. And you know, it's funny, and every relative's been a part of this. When they've done something bad or they've done something, and it doesn't I don't care if it's a form of abuse or alcoholism or anything, drugs, addicted. And what I'm just saying is honestly, their fast relief for that is, well, I'm a born-again Christian now, and I don't do those things. But you see it's like that you haven't really dealt with the issues. You're using that as some other human has told you what you need to forgive. What about yourself? What about, I mean, honestly, being within yourself, being honest about that. Not using that as a crutch, as a religion. You know what I'm saying?
So I had a friend.
It's been bad. They're like, I've been a bad person. Now I'm going to confession, and now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to be the right person. Why is it religion to tell you that you're wrong? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole concept. You know inside. You know what you've done wrong. You don't need them to tell you. And that's why I think like treatments and, you know, like spiritual groups and where they can be honest, because you go to a church with you sat and you tell them literally, if you told them everything you did, they'd be like, oh my God, you're out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing, because there's only certain things that they will tolerate and let you be honest about. And you
will be judged by everyone there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And we will throw you on the coals. But you know what I'm saying? So they say that they're there to help you, but they're not. Everybody knows it too, because it's a certain dignity that they're worried about, because what the churches do, they gossip. This person's bad, this person's bad, this one's, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you, if we're going to go down this religion this process, I mean, it's a bigot society.
It really is.
It is. And they would never, I mean, okay, and this is the thing. Here's your test on this. There's your test. When this whole thing happens, okay? What are we taught in society when something happens? What do? Go to your church. I'll tell you what, you're going to see a lot of churches locked up and shutting their door like, oh, we can't handle this. We don't got the money for this. You watch this. And that's the first thing I told one of my friends for this. Go to your church, get all your food, get all that stuff that they're supposed to be helping you get, right? But we saw that happen down in Texas with Joel Osteen, right?
Oh yeah, he wouldn't even let any. Yeah, he closed down the searches.
It was,
yeah, I sure do. How
they
we going?
flooded, and thou shall turn the door and lock it, and turn away the fruits to the people. I mean, he is the biggest scam out there. And I'm thinking, boy, you're a new type of demon. To when your people wanted something, you locked your doors. And you didn't give them the fruits that they donated millions of dollars and donated their hard-on work, and he shut it in their face.
Yeah, and he lives in a multi-million-dollar mansion. Probably has a garage full of different cards. I mean,
whole another scam.
In the name of religion.
I'm telling you.
The things that have been done in the name of religion are absolutely unbelievable.
They are held accountable at a different understanding than the ones that do not know. Just saying.
Wow.
It's bad.
Oh. Here's one for you. Does Jenny know anything about spiders in 4D, negative beings?
They haven't showed me anything, and I haven't heard anything, in just the spiritual realm of that. And that's not been a worry. The only hatching I'd be was inside those shots.
Yeah, they just found some more parasites.
Yeah, that's it's inside the bodies. It's hatching.
Yeah, that's terrible. Do you think anything will happen before the end of the year in terms of the collapsing of things?
It's already happening.
It's already happening, yeah.
Yeah, we're already... Look at the deck clock, see what it says. It's telling you. It's pretty much gold and white. Instead of black and white, it's very gold and white.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Here's a question for you. Will the bad ones be revealed as a non-human? And some of us...
And some of them will just stand in position and never move out of that position again. Stand frozen in time.
Oh, wow, really? That's interesting. Okay. And so she cried every time she went to church. I just remember, especially in the Catholic church, 'cause I came from a family that my mother was Lutheran, my father was Catholic, so we kind of did both things. And I just remember, especially, it was worse in Catholic. Is stand up, sit down, kneel, stand up, sit down, kneel, stand up, sit down, kneel, stand up, sit down. I mean, and it's like, why are we doing this?
That's just stupid, right? You are immortal. I don't think so. I'm not bending on no knees. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's and that's the whole thing. I didn't believe in baptism or anything, and I didn't do anything with that process, thank God. And but you know what? I'm going to tell you this. Religion is very good on the fact when people do bad all week and they think that they feel better. They go to church. It makes it so great that they went to church and now everything's forgiven. And now I can go back to being a pedophile again and during the week. I'm just telling you, that is the way religion has gotten.
Yeah.
It's just telling you.
All you have to do is go to church and say you're sorry and it's all over. You're good to go for another week. And then you can do the same thing all over again and go back to church and once again say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean it.
What happened to, I mean, just to bear anything that you've done wrong, that that has hurt or harmed somebody? It sits on your instinct. You don't need the church to tell you that. There's thousands of prisoners that are in prison that, when they get to a certain point of their healing, they confess in the way of their friends or their allies because they don't want to bear it anymore. They want to be truthful about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, society in the program, it's a very messed up program.
What'd you say?
Messed up program.
Oh, messed up. Yes, definitely messed up.
It's very messed up.
Yes, bad programming.
Bad.
Change the channel.
Right.
Oh,
so that is going to be hard for society to accept when that hits the center stage.
Well, part of the problem too is it's really difficult for humans to believe the level of evil and ugliness and incredible badness that some people have been doing,
and they live next to
our children.
Yeah,
and that's just one of the biggest aspects of it all that needs to stop. And people are just going to they're not going to believe. They're going to have a real hard time believing it. That's why these tribunals that they talk about are really important. Mm-hmm. So they can hear confessions.
I'm hearing a lot of people don't want to watch them. They're like, oh, I'm not going to watch them. When I'm getting this from the left, I'm like, oh, you're not going to have a choice. You can't watch The Voice. You're going to have to watch that one channel, and you don't have a choice. Period.
So you're going to be seeing it whether you like it or not, unless you just stay away from it completely, and then you'll hear everybody else talking about it, and then you're going to go look at it yourself. That's probably what will happen.
Exactly.
So here's another one. They're all buying crypto for what? Because of the banking crash is what they're saying. And then they're saying people who have quantum financial system websites, and they're all different. And so I'm going,
yeah.
Are we getting ready to get scammed here or what?
Probably. That's why it's like, if you've done anything, you better have done it by now, because anything that's new, because the dark is going to get desperate. Just like those.
And they are desperate already,
like fake IRS letters that went out, and all the addresses were in Ohio and everywhere else, and all parts, and they change their address every month. It's just ridiculous. They're not even. I don't know. It's just you can't believe anything. You have to check the certification of things at the website at the bottom. Scamming is going to be big if they can get away with it. But this is supposed to be 100%. When the original one,
scam proof.
Yeah, you can't do it. So it's a dying breed of scammers that are their whole money process is coming to an end.
Yeah, that's hard for people to wrap their head around, that very concept of being able to exist or be in a society, culture, whatever you want to call it, without money and still be able to, exist and have things and so on. It's just.
But the addiction, I think there's an addiction with money.
Oh yeah.
But the more you go into it, when you get to a certain level of because it's not about being happy, it turns into this title. That's what it turns into. It puts you in a title process that you think you have to walk in. It's a fantasy that doesn't get you anywhere, especially with your soul. But I'm just saying, when that ego process ends up ending and making society as one level together, that would be the best thing ever. Ego. Whew.
Yeah, money is a big deal to people. They're already trying to set up a hierarchy in that regard with these different websites and buy this and buy that. And well, wait a minute, I thought this was all changing. I thought everybody was supposed to be, treated equally. Obviously they're not. Somebody's asking, I don't know what this is about Cabbage Patch babies.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I remember when those dolls came out, and I thought they were the ugliest looking things ever. And I can't
I did too.
Spent money on those things, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, and they're asking, are Cabbage Patch babies and adults real?
Not that I know.
Humans from the vine.
No.
What a concept.
No.
Because then it goes on. I think we got a Cabbage Patch obsession here. Cabbage Patch baby crops. Somebody asked them. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, moving right along. Let's see if there's any more. The first church folks judge terribly. Oh, they're awful.
Right.
This one says, jobs can be as easy as teaching friends how to clear their own field or what to do to help. People need to learn to help each other. I just feel like that's kind of
I think
by the wayside.
When it goes down, I think you're going to see that.
They're not going to have any choice but to help each other.
Help thy neighbor in a different way of understanding, because there's neighbors going through the same thing as you are. So yeah. I just, so yeah, that'll be good. They'll get that humanity thing going on.
Okay. Do you, this is a question of my own. Do you believe the arrests that are going on are real?
Yep.
and so on, all that,
and all that.
Yep.
And a lot of what we see in real raw news probably is something that's already happened a couple of years ago, because this has been going on for
Right.
this period of time that this all started.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, because you would never inform the enemy what you're doing until after it's done. Just saying. Because you would make sure the strategy, just like the military, they don't, they're very good at tactic in the way they do things, and not even, they know that you're even there, what you're snooping around to take down. So I think everything you're seeing now is to put in to society's head that you have to be witness. You have to be witness to bring you to your knees of understanding what you cannot allow again in the future. And you have to watch and observe, and don't expect people just because they say they're doing their job doesn't mean they are. Your communities have to get involved locally and watch what their decisions they're making. This gets you alert and to pay attention. And it has, some of the lessons are pretty hard of how they're, especially ringing out this Biden puppet so badly that, whether you can get them to respond or anything. It's really bad when I've noticed on Twitter, the old, whatever they call it now, the X, that the ones that really stick up for Joe Biden on there now, they don't even care to be called a pedophile anymore. They're so in sync with it that they don't even care.
Yeah, it's become very blatant lately.
Yes. And that shows you the sickness that the left has, the democratic process, that they are in that process of, they've already sold their soul in that way, a concept. I am more important than the children of this earth, and money is more important. And they're so narcissistic in seeing it only one way, and that it's right in front of you how bad he is, and they deny the truth. So they're not even phased being called a pedophile anymore.
Yeah, I've noticed they're, and the ones sticking up for Biden too. I automatically assume that they're okay with that. Either that or I don't know, but I got a feeling that they do, and it's just it's propaganda to try to boost that person up. Now I'm going to answer this very carefully. I found out some information today, as a matter of fact, that this particular product, which has been extremely successful, we may have to be careful or mindful of it in the future, because it's now being tested to find out if it has the nanotech in it.
For which one?
Because it's made by the one that starts with an I.
Oh.
Because it's made by our favorite pharmaceutical company that put out so many of the ones that starts with a P.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's, somebody is getting involved in the testing of that right now. Probably Dr. Anna.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Listen to this. I was a CCD director for the Archdiocese of Santa Fe. Total reptiles.
Yep.
There's a lot of that. Well, have you seen anything else on in the immediate future? Or
Well, I mean, I don't see. I don't watch the media, but
no, I said immediate future. I didn't mean anything to do with the media.
Within the next,
I don't watch the media.
I believe the next 3 days, there's like, these are like chess pieces. There's a major chess piece that's coming, and I just get this when I go back and analyze it. It's the credit card system, and they think it's because it's going down, but I think it has to do with the fact that you're not going to see it again.
Don't they have to? They would have to reissue everything anyway if it all collapses.
Right. So I'm saying it's just because what you saw on the deck clock, it already represents the past. I mean, the future. So the past of that system, that has to be dismantled. Okay, that we never incurred that much debt. We know that was wrongfully taken from us. So guess what? It has to be cleared. So that process, I'm really focusing on credit card and the zero balances. That's what I'm saying.
I just threw that up there because I get just as upset about that when I hear people say that, because I visualize it, and it.
What?
It says, and when they say covered in the blood of.
That's a cabal thing to me.
You know.
That's a sacrifice.
Yes, exactly. That is supposed to be inside of you, not on the outside of you. Or anybody for that matter. Yeah, I have a real hard time with that. And I'm going, stop saying that. Why can't you be covered or filled with the essence
of the light?
Yeah, rather than, yeah. It's just,
No, they can't print no more money. They can't print any more money. We took their printers away.
I'm sure they'll try. Or maybe have some try to remake them or something. I don't know. A lot of them are being removed. I mean, simply totally removed, arrested, and can't do anything more. And so then you have a lot of so-called minions that are trying to operate without any direction. Okay. Somebody's asking, do you know anything? Again, that's a biblical thing. So what's happening with the 144,000?
Well, we already discussed this a couple weeks ago. There's just the fact that they're here and there. We're going through this process. They're standing in the podiums that need to be stood in, as you clearly kind of see that now. And at the end of this, you'll know who they are.
Here's a good one. Kevin says, I've told my whole family to expect to feel like we're back in 1875. Big government, big pharma, big education, and big medicine will all fall. And yes, they will.
Yeah.
Be ready to barter and trade with tangible goods.
You remember you got
But
the
now
cheese?
barter-
Remember you got the box of cheese from the government?
Yeah. Everybody gets a box of cheese now. No.
Right.
So, but see, here we go again. And I've said this before. Everybody says, okay, well, we can just barter. Well, barter, to be able to barter, that's not going to work for a large percentage of people. It's great if you got a lot of things to barter with, but there are a lot of people that don't have any more than their bare essentials,
Right.
like a bed, if they even got that.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's still not a fair system that way.
No, it's not. I mean, more of a farmer situation it would be, but not in the cities. I mean, what are you going to barter with?
Exactly.
Well, if you were the UFO community, it'd be the oldest.
You want to? Okay. Yeah. What do you
The
think
oldest field that's out there. You know what I'm talking about. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Those saloons are pretty good right now. Anyway.
Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here. This is another thing that's some people who have totally idolized celebrities are going to want to vomit when they find out what they've been doing.
Yep. They're going to, shun them.
Yeah. Well, once I found out there's some people that I used to think were pretty good actors, but once I found out more about them, I can't even watch a movie of theirs anymore.
Mm-mm.
Like
No.
Tom Hanks.
No. Not at all.
Somebody's asking, Jenny, will you go to 5D or above?
My request is to get off this planet.
I've had enough.
I'm going very far away.
Yeah. It's all I can take. I can't take anymore.
No, that's fine. I can't hear you. Okay.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want to cough into the speaker. Okay. I was just wondering, is there any questions that you see that you want to address that maybe I haven't seen yet or something?
Well, mainly it's just the process of looking at things in a new world and a new process and a new way, futuristic technology.
Oh, here's a good question. There's talking about a lot of cyber attacks. Do you have, and actually, it's almost.
Well, I think that I kind of expected that. Because, when you're taking something down, the reaction, there's always going to be a chain reaction, like spoiled brats that don't get their way anymore and can't hone your money down. So I'm sure they you were going to see this. Well, I mean, do I think it's going to decrease? Yes. So I think it's expected to be. So I think it'll tear off.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm exiting this construct for sure, homeward bound.
I know, right?
Unless I guess some people prefer to be here for to rebuild the new Earth, but I think that's going to happen more in 3D than 5D. It's a totally different realm. Here's the last question. What can we expect as next step?
Keep an eye on your credit cards.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Keep an eye on the credit cards.
On the credit cards. Yeah. I put that out. I didn't. The thing of it is, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we're never going to know the when. It's just going to happen.
2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe tonight. No.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. And please like, share, and subscribe. It makes a difference, and it helps a lot in algorithms, so other people have the opportunity to see this information. And I also request that you take a look at the description and the different products that are offered there that I've very carefully researched and have tried, and it does help support the program.
Right.
And otherwise, there's things like Patreon and so on. But either way, hopefully that's not going to be a problem. They all know how to
contact me if they're looking for classes or to understand or do.
Yeah, reading. All of Jenny's information is in the description as well, right at the top of it. So if you want to contact her, that's how you do that. If you want to contact me, my information's there too. So anyway, so thank you, everyone. And
hopefully next week everybody's debt free.
Isn't that, yeah, really? I hope so too. That would be so nice. Debt free.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. We can move on to the future.
Exactly. So that being said, I think that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you for watching, and see you again next time.
Stay in the light. Good night.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever, never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are